So as you can see from our project preview, we're looking to produce a weekly podcast show on giving college tips to incoming high school students and college students. According to the United States Labor and Statistics, in 2013, 66% of high school graduates will be attending colleges and universities, with over 4 million of these being adults above the age of 35. And with such high numbers, we decided to produce this weekly podcast show to help some of these students out. For this idea, we decided to use the Nickelodeon show Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide as an example. So this show basically follows a middle school kid named Ned and his struggles of being a student. Periodically throughout these episodes, he would stop and pause and do these one-on-ones with the audience members to kind of give them some tips of being in middle school. And for instance, the following are just a few examples that I found when he was talking throughout his episodes. So some of them would be like choosing classes to be with your friends, sitting close to the door so that you can leave early if you don't like the door jams, and always taking notes when the teacher is talking. For many of us, I'm sure that we've heard this before, whether it's from like a teacher, a counselor, or a parent. But for some reason, when it comes from a fellow student, we feel like they understand us more and that we feel like we're more inclined to take them into consideration. So the second part I wanted to talk about was that being in college can be kind of stressful at times. And there might be some times where we feel like there's no one there to help us out, even with the simplest stuff. And the example I wanted to give was in the first episode when we were going over registering for classes. For me, when I was transferring from Macomb Community College to Wayne State University, I felt like it was a completely different atmosphere. I felt like there was no one there to really help me out with even registering for classes, and I really didn't know where to go for help. So when I was at Macomb and I had to register for classes, it was a part of this process where you would go to the registration office and you would hand in like paperwork to update your name, address, information like that. And there was always someone there available, and there were booklets available. So once you handed in your paperwork, someone was there to like help guide you for picking which classes. They would have all your information right there. There were also computers also in the same room, so when you would go speaking to that person, you immediately went to registering for your classes right then and there. But when I transferred to Wayne State University, I felt like it was completely like a separated process. There was a building for this, a building for that. For instance, when you first start at Wayne State, you would go to like the Welcome Center and get started talking to like a counselor there on what you might want to do and getting just some general stuff done. And then they would have you go over to the advising office at the UGL to speak with an advisor to like register for classes. For me, I felt like it was like really hard and I didn't know where like to turn to for help. And then at the end of all of it, I ended up having to like sit down and go through my own schedule and like figure out like what classes I wanted to take and what was my best availability. So to conclude this, I wanted to talk about that. We are looking to produce this podcast show to target young adults, so like high school students, probably like sophomores, seniors, and current college students. So this project will be hopefully not just available online, but also on mobile devices if we can get the funds, which we'll talk about later. And we hope this will eventually go just beyond Wayne State to more like nationwide. So I know like the first two tips that we did for our podcast were more general towards like Wayne State students. But we hope to, once we get our fundings, to eventually add more episodes so that we can generalize this more so that, you know, students nationwide, whether it's a community college, a, university, can gain benefit from our show. Okay, thank you so much.